Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Making It Easy, a web series where I go over academic skills you might be having a hard time with and want to improve on. In today's episode, we will be covering decimals, and we're going to figure out why do we need to learn them and how do we read them. And of course, we're going to make it easy. I know you've seen decimals before. They're on receipts, directions, sports stats, and many other things. Some of you may think decimals are just periods, a symbol to let us know to pause between numbers. Just like how I have this bottle of Gatorade, and at the bottom there's a number, and it says 16, 9 flaws? Oh, it's fluid ounces. That's why I'm wrong. No, decimals are not read like periods. Think about it like money. When we read money, we would say something like $6.50. Decimals are not read like periods. Think about it like money. When we read money, we would say something like $6.50. So what is this mysterious symbol? Why has it become so important to our society? Well, it's all about being precise. So far, we've been counting by whole numbers. We've been counting by ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, etc. But what about the numbers between those whole numbers? How do we count those? Let's say I had 2 sandwiches and I ate part of one of those sandwiches. I will now have 1 and a partial amount of sandwiches. And to measure that partial amount, I would have to use decimals. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. You might be thinking, I don't need to know this stuff. My life is perfect. I'm always gonna get whole things. Well, need to stop you there. Because as you get older, you're going to need to start taking care of yourself and or someone you know and love. And sometimes that form of care means you're going to have to give them medicine. And sometimes a whole dose of medicine can be terrible for the body. And that's why we need to learn how to be precise so you can take care of yourself and or someone you know and love. Hashtag math saves lives. So before we continue, I want to give you 4 seconds to think about what does this chart tell us? And remember, you can pause this video if you need more time. You should have been thinking these columns represent the number of units. So we have ones, tens, and hundreds. So if this group of numbers was written into the chart, we know there would be 5 hundreds, 7 tens, and 4 ones. So this isn't anything new for you, but now we're going to look at the numbers on the right side of the ones place. Once we place a decimal to the right of the ones place, we are looking at numbers in a more precise manner. The spot to the right side of the decimal is the tenths place. The next spot over is the hundredths place. So we have tens and hundreds on the left side of the ones place, and we have tenths and hundredths on the right side of the decimal. Make sure you're adding that th sound when we are talking about numbers in the decimal places. So we're talking about tenth, hundredth, thousandth. Kind of makes the tongue go a little numb when you do it too much. Now we're going to go over how to read these decimal numbers. Whenever we read decimals, we want to pay close attention to what place value those numbers are in. If a number ends in the tenths place, we would read it as that number tenths. So if there's a 4 in the tenths place, it would be 4 tenths. If there's a 7 in the tenths place, it would be 7 tenths. Oh. And the same thing goes for hundredths. If there's a 4 in the hundredths place, we would say 4 hundredths. If there's a 5 in the hundredths place, we would say 5 hundredths. And if there's a baby in the hundredths place, we would say, "Aw, baby hundredths." I'm just kidding. There are no babies in decimal places. I just wanted to make a point. Now, this is where it might get a little tricky. Sometimes you will be working with a number that has numbers in both the tenths and the hundredths place. And to read these numbers, you just have to pay close attention to where the number ends. So if it ends in the hundredths place, we would say that number hundredths. So for example, let's look at this number. We're looking at 47. And if we put a 0 in a decimal place in front of it, this would be read as 47 hundredths because the number ends in the hundredths place. Now let's read this number together. And now I'm going to ask myself, what place value does the number end in? Remember, the section to the right of the decimal is the tenths place. The section to the right of the tenths place is the hundredths place. So the number ends in the hundredths place, meaning it would be read as 42 hundredths. I hope you're starting to see a pattern now because it's time for the challenging question. For today's challenging question, I'm going to show you a number and I want you to think about how to correctly say it. So I'm going to give you 4 seconds, and remember, pause the video if you need more time. Once that timer runs out, I'm going to give you the correct answer, and if you get it right, we can celebrate together. If you got it wrong, don't sweat it. Just rewatch the lesson so you can learn from your mistakes. All right, let's get to it. And the answer is 235 and 75 hundredths. And there you go, you just leveled up. You now know what decimals are used for and how to read them. I hope I made this lesson easy for you. I'm Mr. Wayne signing out. Be safe out there, friends.